Greetings and welcome to the show. I have Forlo, Brabdo, and Colin here for Video Game Book Club. If you don't know what it is by now, just look at the other 40 that we've done. This month it was Colin's pick.
Wait, hold on.
Colin, what'd you pick?
What number?
Whoa. What number?
Wait, what did you say? You said something about a number. I wasn't paying attention.
I said if they don't know what we've done, look at the other 40 that we've done.
Oh
Let the new
shit!
viewers
Is
know
this
this game's
is
popular.
this a big?
Come on,
Is this a big number today? Is that what's going on?
It was.
What are we
we've
at,
done more than
42?
40.
number 33.
I got a secret. One of them was labeled wrong, and we're actually ahead of that number. There's. When
I
I
don't
went
think
There's
through
anyone
it,
one
checked.
and you'll never know.
I'll leak it. When I went through and put everything on Spotify, there's 2 episode 12s.
Oh,
No one ever said
shit.
anything.
So we are number 42, right? Is that where we're at?
What was the last one? 40?
Oh, yeah, Code Vein was the last one, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And now recording.
What
Yeah,
do you
now
mean?
recording.
This is content.
I also played Elden Ring again this month and Halo.
You didn't even say the
And-
game we played.
But yeah, well, because you haven't yet, but we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
We need a script.
I think that's it. Oh, Rivals. I played some Rivals too.
Night Rain, Splitgate,
Oh, and I played Night Rain, yeah.
fucking Guitar Hero.
2 matches of Splitgate.
Chess.
Work.
What was the game?
What was it? You gotta say it in French.
The game was Clair
I was
Obscur.
asking
Holy
you to
shit.
say
Oh
it in
my god.
French,
All right.
dude.
That isn't the game in French. It's Clair Obscur. It means light
Clair
and dark.
Obscur Expedition 33 is the name.
Yeah, I don't know. Is expedition in French, or is there another word for expedition in
That's why I
French?
asked, dude.
Expedition.
There we go.
I got no
Getty
clue.
boy.
Expedition.
And how do you say 33?
Yeah, there we go.
33.
Trois de trois.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
trois de
Duolingo.
trois. One of the best French games I've ever played.
Better than Absolver?
It's up there.
Yes. Slow
Is that a
Clap
French
is
game?
a French studio.
Yes.
Yippee!
It's
Wait.
better than Rematch.
France is
know.
getting stocks recently. What can I say?
Too bad about that Ubisoft though.
So it's a game about people turning into flowers.
Whoa! What?
This is more about like a game about people painting.
Where are we starting?
We're
It's
getting
just
there.
all over the
All right, well,
place.
We could,
Yeah.
dude. I'll
restart
restart
it.
it right now.
Or-
We could start at the most contentious argument. Is this game Parry Slop or is it not?
Now, that's the
That's
real
where we're
question.
starting? Okay.
That's
What is
the-
the game though? What is
The game's
got the-
Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
No, but like not the title, but like what's the game about? Before we the defense.
Oh, you wanna start from the very-
end. What
The
do we got
game-
going on?
All right, Frank, what's it about? With no...
What?
No, you just,
With what?
just
With
give
no
a quick
spoilers?
synopsis of like the first hour.
All right. So the first hour starts out with you as this man named Gustav. And Gustav is preparing for something that happens once a year. And he's very
called the
solemn
Goumage.
and upset. And yeah, it's called the Goumage. Not to be
Or the
confused with the
Galani.
Gabagool. Completely different concept. And he's got a friend named Mayel, who's sort of like a wild man, straight man type thing going on with them.
Wait, what? Bayel's is like
and she-
adopted daughter.
like a sister.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
little sister type vibe in my opinion.
Yeah, where Gustav is like really, really serious, and she's like gung ho and almost slightly excited, you know, bright eyed and bushy tailed. And then as time goes on, you get to know like the town of Lumiere a little bit and hang out with all the people. And then eventually, the whole reason for this party starts. And the event is half of the people just bursting into flowers. They die.
not
They die a
half.
miserable death.
Well, it's
And
everyone
this
of a
happens
certain
every
age.
year.
Yeah,
Everyone of a
age.
certain age.
Every year the age goes down, so every year more people will be dying.
And
then
it is
eventually
one
we'll
of
count down to
the
zero.
It is one of the craziest cold opens I've ever seen to a game, and it's sorta similar in theme, not necessarily in what it is, but in theme to how BioShock did its stuff, where it does set a lot of stuff up just to take it away fairly quickly. Um, so, like, if you did spend a lot of time hanging out in Lumiere before all of the crazy shit happened, it will come as more of a shock than if you just went through and did exactly what the game told you to do, and went in a straight line. Um,
To be fair,
and then
There's
there's
a
not much to
mime.
do in Lumiere.
There's a mime
You
you
kinda
can
just
fight,
walk
dude.
forward.
and you
can
pop a
fight the mime.
balloon, and you
Painting.
get the coins, and so then it's time to go on the expedition, and this
What
is
is the expedition?
the expedition is you going across the water into the place where a character called the Paintress lies, and, the idea is that, how many were before this? 67 or 82? There was,
Counting down from
There's a
99.
15-year
there was
gap,
an extensive
something like that.
yeah. So they've been doing these expeditions for quite a while, and nobody has come back from any of these expeditions. They all have gone to fight the Paintress and failed, but they do it every year
So you
because
think
if you're 33 at Expedition 33, you only got 1 year left anyway, so they send you out to, what is essentially a war. So you go on the boat, and you reach this new island, and immediately shit, it's like D-Day, it's like the D-Day thing from Saving Private Ryan. It's bad. You're instantly shell-shocked, there's this dude with a cane, and he fucking cuts people's heads off and shit, and it's bad out there. And then you spend, a good portion of the rest of the game going through on that expedition.
Alright.
Anyone
Now
wanna
we can
pick it up from here?
with the 4
well, we
remaining
can get to
survivors.
that. Now we can go back into the Perry slop, I think. We can go into gameplay at least.
Okay.
It's the elephant in
Yeah,
the
that was
room.
that was a good setup for what's going on
So
and
the
what
game is
game is.
essentially a turn-based JRPG at, like, the base. What do you mean? No,
FRPG.
'Cause it's yeah. In the vein of
no,
Persona.
it's just
It
it's a turn-based JRPG,
Yeah, but it's very similar to
sort
Persona.
of.
in I think it's similar in UI, and
Yeah, it's just the
UI,
honestly,
UI
I
though,
think.
right?
it's similar in UI, and there's weaknesses and actually, I don't think there's resistances. There is
I mean,
resistance.
but to be fair, like, we can attribute weaknesses and
Yeah,
resistances
fucking
to 50%
Pokemon
of
Blue.
games.
Yeah,
So I don't
like
think
Pokemans.
Yeah.
Like, it goes back.
But the gimmick of this game, which has been seen before in games like Indivisible and all of that, um, there is quick time events, both for you attacking and being attacked. In theory, with your dodge and parry and jump, you could go throughout this game without taking a single hit of damage. And there's characters in the game that will reward you for not taking any damage and will get stronger because of it. Um, However, the amount of times that you parry in a battle becomes obscene. Uh, and you don't have to do this, but in some cases, there are portions of the game that are exceedingly more difficult to beat without utilizing the defensive mechanics than with utilizing the defensive
Well,
mechanics.
you have to
And we'll get into
utilize them.
pacing. Yeah,
Yeah, you can't not use them.
we'll get into pacing later, but the main thing is that me and Brabdo, and I don't know how Colin or Forlo feels about this, but the term parry slop. Brabdo, can you explain parry slop? I feel like
Right.
you do a better job.
Okay, so here's why I think this game I should say the first 2 acts of this game fall under the category of parry slap. So, what do I mean by this? I mean that all of the game's mechanics, if you can imagine them as a river flowing downwards towards a delta, you have all of these different mechanics that the game has, basically your level, your gear, your strategy, your Pictos, your, like, different abilities, all these different attributes. Then they all funnel towards one simple thing, and it's basically how well did you press the dodge button in the fight. And so, as a result of that, good chunks of this game feel pretty much like not in a way that you would expect a JRPG to feel, because you're sitting there like, oh, well, was my strat bad? Well, the answer is no, because you're going to fight the same boss 5 times again. But on the 5th time where you actually beat him, the only thing that you're going to do differently is have pressed the parry button at the right time.
Well, so my counterpoint to that type of parry slap thing is that in every other JRPG, you're right, that wouldn't be happening. What instead would be happening is you'd have 20 times the health and defense, and you wouldn't have an option to do anything on your defensive step. You just stand there and get hit in the face for 10% of your almost
That-
infinite HP bar. So to me, as much as it is parry slap, it adds interactive gameplay to something that otherwise is boring. And
That's my
I
whole
prefer
argument.
that.
It's like, but it's
Well,
like,
and
what would you change then to make it, I guess, not parry slap? Because I can't think of a better JRPG battle system ever.
well,
Yeah,
in concept,
characters 10 more
I don't
HP.
I don't hate the concept. I just believe that the game feels that in some aspects of it, by the way, we played on normal mode, didn't play on super hard, didn't play on easy, that it felt a little too centralized into the gameplay. So I wouldn't take it out. I would keep it in as is. And also I would adjust maybe the timings on some of the moves are pretty egregious, especially late game. They get
There are a
kind of,
couple jank ones. For the most
they're
part,
like,
they're
oh,
pretty
I'm gonna swing,
fun.
and then they to the point where it basically takes you out, because you're like, what do you, dude? Why did you fake swing in order for me to? Because then you press the berry button on the fake swing, but that's not when the move it. No, and the
I
actually
think that's what
basically
keeps it
swing, and then you
fun.
get hit, and you basically when it comes. Well, I mean, if
Because if it was all
that's valid, if that's the
yeah, but
kind
if
of
it was
fun that
all
you want
just
to have with the
if it was all
with the
just pure reaction
JRPG.
for the parry, it would be kind of, it's easy. Not saying it's like hard, but I do like the amount of,
The
startup and weird animations that it's like the first time you see something, it's probably gonna smack you in the fucking head.
Yeah, and you gotta jump here, jump
Yeah.
there, gradient parry
They got
this
mix-ups,
one,
it's interesting.
like, yeah, there's
which the introduction of the jump and the gradient parry did add layers to it. I I think that no matter how many times an opponent hits, the long startup of the first hit only works once. I think that after you see it once and you know that they're winding up for 10 seconds, that then it becomes an egregious, like, "Okay, I've seen this before, I know when to parry, now I just gotta sit here and wait for this animation," and it adds a little bit of, like, tongue-in-cheek humor. It's like, "Yeah, no, he's not gonna hit me, but he's certainly gonna try,"
I f
and,
I
like
f I feel the game kind of indulges in this a little too much, especially and, like, there's an optional boss that has, like, an absolutely atrocious amount of health, but if you
Yeah.
successfully parry it 150 times, it self-destructs.
I was
And it's like,
gonna bring that boss up exactly. I was gonna say the only time I ever felt like it was doing some parry slap
But
was with
but
that
it's like that's the
bouncing
whole
dickhead,
point of that
that
fight,
guy who just would but that's what was the point. So then after that happened, like during it, I was like, "Oh my goodness, more? He's just adding more bounces ever." But after the fact, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like that was the
you just
point.
have
That
to
was
lock in, but at the
that
same
was
time, it's like
well, they're the
it's kind
easiest
of like a
Yeah.
parries in
little
the
bit
game,
of
realistically.
a piss take. You're like, "Okay," like, it's a
Yeah.
little overindulgent in some aspects of it. That's
But
my
like,
take
I
on
don't,
it. I
yeah,
don't think it's bad, I don't think it's strictly, like, the greatest thing ever, but it is the way that the game is.
and once again, the alternative is everyone else has 10 times the HP and you just stand there and do nothing and get hit
That's
for some of your
I think it's
XP.
the best JRPG
Yeah.
battle system I've ever played. I really can't think of a better one.
But at the
Well,
same time, you could have ass strat, but if you just clutch up and parry every single thing, then you don't even
I
have to
love
think
that.
about anything.
Well, isn't that sick? If someone who's got perfect
I know.
reactions can cook it even if they don't like
I don't really
what?
think that's that sick.
I think it is sick, and the only problem I have with
Someone who
it
min-maxed their stats and goes through it, you think is cooler than that?
well, I think there's a
Understandable.
balance. There's a
There's the
balance in
balance.
between it because for me, it was the pacing. I will agree wholeheartedly, unequivocally that this game is parry slap. However, later in the game, it gives you the tools
Yeah,
to
that's
build
where I'm
how you
getting at.
want.
When
So
you get
my
to the late game, the whole it flips on its end.
Yeah, because like, for the first half of the game, it feels like, "Oh, man, this whole game, I'm just going to have to learn all of the enemy's moves," which is fine. I like that concept for games. That's I mean, again, put 80 hours into Elden Ring right before I played this game. That's a lot of learning enemies' moves. I like that. What I didn't like was the pacing when it came to how long it took for my build to actually matter. It's a good 12 to 15 hours before I felt as though my build mattered without knowing the parry system. And I put a lot of work throughout the entire game building, and it wasn't until I got into end and post game that my characters were strong enough to live a whiffed parry, to withstand a boss battle,
Wait,
with
you
moves that I
can
haven't
live
seen before.
hold on, you can
Uh,
live a whiff
Changed
yeah, I
in
was
your
gonna you can
build
live a whiff
to make
parry,
you
like,
strong.
through most of the game. It doesn't take till Act 3 to live a whiffed parry. But I know, but the way you're saying
Yeah, but the
sure,
detriment
but I
and
mean, it's just
snowball of
difficulty.
it, you get what I'm saying? Because if you get hit by a move that, like, puts burn on somebody, or if, God forbid, you're fighting one of these, enemies that will do stuff that's worse than death, such as vanishing or eating, and then your other guy gets hit by a parry, it's
You
just a
can't
matter of time
I
You
mean,
can't
before.
dodge the
Gorgon
eat
is a
move, dude. You
fucking
just get
easy
eaten.
ass boss though, dude.
You just
Yeah,
insta break them
I'm
too,
not
and then you get the
Depends on
questioning the
when you
bonus.
try to kill.
easiness or the hardness of things, it's just, like, the build
I
didn't matter as long as I was parrying, and in late
mm,
game, the build
well,
mattered
see,
even
but
if
I
I
almost
was
disagree
parrying.
because
You get
late
what I'm
game,
saying?
you pretty much gain the ability to ignore parry and just nuke things.
You
Yeah,
do.
I was gonna say, yeah, at the end of the
Yeah.
game, I felt like roguelike strong. Yeah, like I could eviscerate everything, but my build
Yeah.
definitely mattered the whole way through, and I definitely felt massive change in every gear
I
drop
think
and
I think
picto
your
drop
build
I got
matters
throughout
way
the
more
entire way.
early on than it does late game. Because late game, you have so many fucking tools that it's like there's like 50 fucking nuke builds that are so easy to access late game that like
Which I think we all stumbled on the exact same build in the end.
I don't think I
Mine
all I
seems
because you used
different, at
some
least from what
weird
I saw
shit
you
when
guys
you
do.
killed the super boss.
We all used yeah, but before that, and I could have, and that's just for the super boss. If I had just taken my normal like Mayelium stand hall build to the end of the game, I would have just crushed the final boss.
I didn't.
It was only it was only the optional content that necessitated me like coming up with a kind of semi creative build.
Which let's transfer back a little bit because to talk about the build that I had, I have to talk about characters that haven't been introduced yet. So at some point, you start the game as Gustav. Um, but about 3 to
Spoiler.
5 hours in, an event happens. Um, so
It's more like 10 hours in, but
the guy with the cane, that cut somebody's head off earlier, kills
Oh no,
Verso, and
you
he's
already you
just
fucked up. You
fucking
fucked up.
gone.
All
It's not like
stars.
a get up. Oh, well,
No,
technically,
you're
I'm not
wrong.
wrong, but kills
well,
Gustav.
Yeah.
Well, I think technically you are.
No, technically, I'm not.
No, Verso is a copy
He's
of
a copy
Verso.
of Verso. That's the whole point. It
No, like
Gustav's
no, like actually,
Johnny
Gustav
Bricks.
is no relation to
what
Verso.
the? Yes.
I thought there was because in the lore of the game, there's people primed to be like Verso and Mayel,
Yeah, they're
and
talking about the Verso because the Verso we always see the whole time isn't the real Verso. So they're talking about real
yeah,
Verso
I get
versus
Gustav's just
that.
Gustav.
And
painted.
Gustav, I feel
There is some like you can
He's just
kind of
some
go out
dude.
there. You can kind of say we're getting way fucking ahead of ourselves and way out there. But you can kind of say like Lune is like Clea, but not really. They just both don't wear shoes. So and it's like you could say I guess you could say Gustav's like Verso because they look similar, but I don't think they're actually related in any way. Not that saw in the game in any way.
I thought not relation, reflection. You get what I'm saying? Because Mayel doesn't
Alicia,
look like what is her name? Amelia? Alicia? Because she's a ginger, you know? But there's striking resemblances between Gustav and Verso and even Renoir for that matter. So it's like I don't know if it was like a Mayel, Amelia
game
type
doesn't
thing.
explicitly say.
But
I don't even know. They
they
look similar. But I don't know.
yeah. Yeah.
Also,
Either
great
way, so
scene.
Gustav
It's such a
dies.
good scene, dude. He charges up his move to hit the old dude.
Yeah.
Doesn't do shit. His arm falls off.
Dude, and I gotta say, something about this game is that like some events unfold and you're like, this is kind of stupid, this is kind of contrived, but only for later on in the story to understand that it actually wasn't stupid, it wasn't contrived. It actually made perfect sense in the context. Because in that moment, the dude literally shows up at the exact right time and is like, why does this guy show up at the exact right time?
Right.
Well, they explain it.
And in the scene where Gustav dies, there's a lot of complex emotions going around because you can tell in the scene that Mael wanted to be the martyr for Verso and didn't want Verso to
Gustav.
react in any way if she became the martyr at this point.
He's got it all fucked.
Gustav.
Right.
Dude, because you play Gustav for fucking 2 seconds in retrospect, and you play as Verso for the rest, and they're virtually fucking identical in how they play.
Applied to be the main character at the beginning of the game, by the way. You start off as him and he has the most dialogue.
Switcheroo.
So when Mael is like, okay, I want to sacrifice myself for you, G, but you can't sacrifice yourself for me, and then Gustav is just like, you know, I'm so stoked on being able to make sure this expedition and Mael is safe. It's like, this is worth it, you know? And that's a common theme throughout this game and why the story is so strong, in my opinion, is because it goes through multiple layers of complex emotion between multiple characters
Even the beginning
all
of
at
the
the
game, I
same
love
time.
where it's like, so Gustav's just by himself, and then you get to that room and it's just fucking bodies. And he pulls out a gun, he's gonna blow his fucking head off.
Yeah.
And then he finds Lune, and they end up at the campsite, and he's just like, "Fuck the mission." And then she does the whole speech. It's good shit, dude. It's good stuff.
It's good
Awesome.
shit. Mission.
Are we ready to talk about feet
So
yet?
what are you
Because that's a big part
talking
of the
about?
game.
That's not a big part of the game.
No.
It's
Dude,
not a big part
Minoko.
of the game where Minoko is an entire character
I
centered
think-
around collecting
I think-
feet.
Nevrons in Paris is probably a bigger
Let's talk about
It's probably a
Forlo-coded
bigger-
SKA, dude.
point of the game.
I was like, this
that
is
guy's
Forlo,
sick
dude.
as fuck, dude. That's the best character.
When I'm talking to him and
That's
he's
the
like,
best character in the game.
but he was like,
dude.
he's like,
I need
full
I need
blind,
more
but
lore,
woo. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
dude. I'm the fastest swimmer. I was like, yo, you are, dude. You're cooking.
He needs
Dude,
all
and
of his
then Minoko
rock
at one-
friends to unlock all of his powers.
Minoko at one
But
point's like,
why
oh,
can't
you
he
can't
hold on
fuck
to
with
them?
You can't
Friends
fuck
are
with
like
SKA.
rocks.
He's
You
the
can never have
strongest
too many.
creature in the universe. I'm like, of course he is, dude.
He's
like-
he's just
Francois
chilling out,
is
dude.
sad.
He's holding wine.
Just said,
No love for Francois, though, dude. He was the best character in the game.
Francois is sad. Yeah, SK was definitely
Forlo quoted.
Definitely
Totally
Forlo quoted.
nonsensical, but like totally
Yeah.
fire.
Big
That's what I'm
fan.
saying. Like the characters in this game, it just feels so fresh. Everything
was
is like fresh. It's
honestly-
like shit has never been done
When
before.
all the characters
I never
are
seen
just, like,
anything like the shit that
besides, like,
happens in this
just
game.
that character, but they feel pretty realistic too. There's so much more ground. Like a lot of JRPGs, the
Right.
characters are just so like nobody's just gonna be like, my whole life is to kill God and have friends. And like that has like a whole backstory for a lot of JRPG characters.
Yeah, it's genuinely the first time in a long time I've like given a lot of a shit about the story and what's happening.
It's on
behind
that
it.
Strangers in
And, like,
Paradise.
really, like I really went out of my way to try to complete as much as I possibly could. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
just to try to get more like lore about
Well,
this.
it was the first game
place
in a
or
long time
these
too where I felt
people
like
or
I wish there
whatever,
was
you
more
know?
filler. It's like it's so short in a way, you know?
Yeah, just fucking.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that. I felt the
It can
the
be.
length was proper.
The game
I
is
think
as
it-
long as you want it to be, really, because you can knock this game out in
Neither did
15
I.
hours.
But I
But if
did
you
not.
beat this game in 15 hours, then you didn't catch 90% of what's going on, because I will never get the full lore of this game. I
Dude,
still
it
can't
took me
remember
forever.
Gustav and Verso's names correctly,
All that
you
galaxy
know, because
gas.
it all amalgamates in there, because there's a lot going
Yeah.
on.
I feel that everything in the game has room to breathe pretty heavily, especially with the way that the camp thing works. Because you like progress storyline that way too by going to the camp.
That thing's pretty good. I didn't know any of that thing existed until randomly,
Oh yeah, yeah.
randomly one night it just went relationship level up, ching, and I was like, "What?"
It kind of
I was like,
bugs
"What are
me.
we playing? What? What?"
Well, some of those
That
I
was
feel like should
caught
be
me off
forced.
guard, but
Comes
Like
way
Mayel's,
late.
like that should be part of the story. Mayel's is pretty important.
I
yeah,
thought they were for it, honestly, but
no, no, like Brabdo, I didn't have like any of the extra skills or any of the like unlockable
I
stuff
know 'cause
for
Frank didn't
like
do that either. I was
yeah, I
watching
didn't
him
have
play
that.
it.
I didn't have that shit straight up past the end of the game. Like,
That's why I did all that,
Well, and
like,
some
as
are
soon as I
so
possibly could, and I
strong.
had all this
Like
the all
fucking
the
Verso's
gradient
angel
upgrades
eyes.
and stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't know.
Mine were
Dude, the
quite out of
Verso
spite.
Angel Eyes is busted.
My
As soon
rela
as I got that, I was like, "Oh, I'm changing my build immediately to, like, take advantage of this."
my relationship, status was out of spite because I feel as though they introduced the relationship level entirely too late in the game.
I don't think
Uh,
so.
well,
They
how am I
literally
only relationship level 1 with Mayel when I'm on act,
Yeah.
like, I'm about to
Well,
go into act
you just
it's a
didn't
3.
talk to
relationship
them at
level. You have to
yeah.
interact with them and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
It
You just
unlocks
have
the
to go out of your
exact
way and
second you
actually,
gain
like,
control of
talk to the
Verso.
NPC standing there. It's like that
You
level
just
1
can't get some of the upgrades
and
until
that
the
level
actual
1
end
one
game.
that you get is a forced
But you
one,
can
but you
start
could have
the
gotten it
process.
earlier, I'm pretty sure.
Y- Yeah. So Frank, we got kind of yeeshed on this one.
And then, the other thing is that, like, there's a little bit of room to make the characters your own as well. For instance, you have the option to, write in your journal about the expedition, and my Gustav, would write in the expedition every time he hit camp, every single time.
But I I didn't
When
wanna break this
Verso
to you
enters the
though,
party,
he doesn't
nobody's
write
writing
in
in
it.
the expedition anymore.
Mayel writes in it when you ask to write in it.
What do you
So
mean?
that's why Mayel gives
He
them
doesn't
the
read.
book.
Oh, okay. Well, because I never did it, I was under the impression that Verso would be
Right,
writing,
and
and
yeah, 'cause
now
Mayel
that
gives the
I've
book to the
completed
kid.
the game, it would actually make no fucking sense for him to do that. Yeah. Um, there's some crazy one-liners. Renoir, when you fight him, goes, "I'm not mad, I'm disappointed when you hit him," which is hilarious. Uh, again, friends are like rocks, you can never have too many. Um, somebody at some point says family is complicated, just like that straight line, family is complicated, and that's sorta like that should be the fucking tagline of this game instead of Expedition 33.
Yeah, but it's a lot more complicated when you have, like, clones of yourself
Magic
Um,
painting.
in a magic painting world.
well, yeah, no, I mean, who wants to kick off that little ditty? Because that's pretty important.
Can we talk about how the game has probably one of the most satisfying twists I've ever seen in a video game?
It has,
Yeah,
like, 4.
I actually got by the game ending, quote unquote. Like I was like, oh,
Right, because
GG.
I mean, the game sets you up for this objective,
Oh, killing the
then you
paintress?
do it,
Yeah.
the game's half over.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yep.
damn, that's crazy. I'm down for that though. That's fucking
Yeah. That's everything. The whole beginning of the game, they're like, "Kill the Paintress. You have to kill the Paintress." Come to find out, it's not what anybody thought.
You go home, dude, everyone fucking still dies. You go, "Oh, shit." And I was actually satisfied with that being that,
I
unironically.
literally had to do that whole sequence happen, and then you're in the manor, and then you walk up to the painting. Frank was there. I sat there, I
What
paused the
happened?
game, and for 15 minutes, I had to sort out what the fuck just happened in my mind. I had to piece it all
What's
together, and then at the very end, I was like, "Okay, I get it."
When the Gomage hit after the Paintress, my jaw was agape for an extended period of time.
and they
It was
set it
good
up,
stuff. It was
Verso's reading the
definitely like,
letter.
I thought it was ending and everyone was
Alicia.
happy boys, you know? We were good to go home. Yeah.
I I had a
And the
feeling
letter's
there
like,
was
"Yeah, you're fucked."
I had a
I saw
feeling there was
someone
gonna be
on
more to
Reddit
the game, but I didn't know it was gonna be
someone on
like
Reddit was
that,
shitting on
you
it,
know?
like, they were literally trying
'Cause
to
I knew that,
imply
like,
the
the game
game is
wasn't gonna
just a
end.
dream. I'm like, that is such a bad and, like, you have no clue what the fuck's going on take. I was
No.
like,
The game is like a dream, but then they wake up for the dream, and then
yeah,
people are talking
it's
about the
way
dream
more
in real life, and
complicated.
then they go back into the dream. It's like, no, it's totally not the same.
Oh my god.
Alright, so the game is a metaphor. 'Cause it is, it's a straight fucking metaphor.
Uh-huh.
Um,
4?
for, coping with grief through drug abuse. That's pretty much what I got from it.
I don't know
'Cause
about through drug abuse specifically, but
staying in the
definitely
painting
through
is
addiction.
unequivocally, in my mind, a drug abuse story.
I
It
kinda got the
is
same I kinda picked up on that as well, actually.
Yeah, it's exiting reality while slowly killing yourself through means that you cannot handle in the real world. That's what I got from it. But the idea of it is that the Gomage and all of the things and all the expeditions are happening inside of a painting that Verso made, and Verso is a real life person in the game, in reality, that died in a fire due to the writers. The writers killed him, which is another tongue-in-cheek thing that I like. Um, because there's 2 factions, ones that write things that allow you to go into stories, and then the people that paint things that allow you to go into stories.
They're
And
at war for some reason.
the whole idea is the mother of Verso is grieving by going into the painting and staying there, and Renoir, the guy with the cane, is the father that's trying to get the mother out of the painting, and you are the daughter who was very badly burned and left debilitated because of this fire. That there's some funky shit, but one way or another, through means not her own, ended up being in the
Her
painting as
sister created
Mael,
her
and then she also has a
Clea created
sister
the
that's
Nevrons.
angry.
Also, at some point enters the painting.
Yeah, and yeah, so this whole time up until, like, this very moment after the last Gomage hits, because Mael dies. You
With
you
all
you
of
wake up
Mael's
as Alicia, and,
which she has all Mael's
and
memories,
you're in
and,
you're
like
yeah, because her mother, like, spliced them, and that was yeah, because that wasn't Alicia's choice, that's just something that's happened. Um, so because of that, she has all of the memories of Mael and all of this and all of the emotions and the relationships that she's built, and now that you're in the real world in the video game, um, you're gonna go and figure stuff out and get and and proceed and it all culminates in, do you listen to the father and stay outside of the
the
painting, or do you rebel against your father and stay in the painting?
Which to me really is like that's where the addiction metaphor is the strongest. Because at the end of the day, it's like, are you continuing in the
is it actually a
delusion
delusion?
or are you going to face the harsh reality? That's the
I
well,
think
yeah,
it's as
because
real as
it's
anything
Because it's
else.
like,
well, that's now we're in some Inception shit.
yeah, well, I don't
Well,
wanna
we're
get that
talking about a
meta, 'cause that's
painting
just
inside a video game, you know? So, like, it's like,
not
okay,
real li
alright,
you know what
well,
I'm
let's
saying,
let's
though.
pretend that it's a painting
We
inside
don't
real
have to go
life then.
7 layers out, like
Um, well, yeah, but it's like a Matrix type thing. If you die in the Matrix, you die in real life type thing, but it's like if you are one step removed from reality, but everything you think and feel and, is real,
The
you
thing
know?
is that is and then the one Verso line changed my whole take on the end because he was because she was like, "No, I'm just gonna stay in here a little bit longer and then I'm gonna leave." And then Verso at the very end was like, "You lied. You're not leaving this painting." She had no intention of leaving the painting. She was gonna die in the painting.
Well, if I was woken up to a reality tomorrow, and it turns out I've just been sitting in a chair disintegrating while I've lived the life I'm living now, I don't
well,
know
the
if I would go to
the
that
endings are
sitting in the
so
chair
fucked. Cause like,
life.
which
You get what
ending
I'm
did you
saying?
pick?
Dan,
Fucking
that's the difference. It's the real versus
the Mael
I picked the Verso ending.
I'm a big Mile
the
fan.
My
I picked Versos first,
I
and
picked the
I know
Mael
what
ending.
Miles
It is
is, and
so
I have extensive talks on both of
it
them.
is so it's in theory, you pick that because you
It
think it's
is.
the
It
good ending,
is.
but I'm pretty sure it's not. Like, it's fucked, and the fact that she's just basically, like, forcing Verso to live is so fucked up. It's so fucked.
Right.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
I'm
It
pretty sure I mean, the
no,
game was implying that Verso was the person who was
yeah,
right.
no, I think
It
I don't
Verso's
blame her.
choice is the right one,
I
but
think
it's
that that's
also
what the game
fucked.
was
It's like
cooking
you
on.
basically just nuke an entire society.
In reality, the painting the painting. There
I-
could have been an ending in the
I
middle
love
where
that
the
there's no
painting is
fucking
kept,
like
but they're
pat on
not
the
in
back
it all the
ending.
time.
Because it's not. That's just bullshit. And
That's true. I mean, it was
100%.
a hard question either way.
Well, the whole thing's a trolley problem. Do you pick
Yeah.
Verso's ending where you force a family forward in their grieving process by destroying the whole fucking world you've been playing in? Or do you choose Mayel's ending and become a god in the world her brother created, which he
Yeah.
doesn't want to be in anymore?
It's
It's
crazy that they give.
trolley problem all over. Like even from the very beginning, right? It's like, I mean, we're sending people to die so that people
That's
don't
why I
die.
think the Mayel ending is
there's
Right.
might
But
actually
they're
be
gonna
the good
die
ending
anyway,
because
so
in that ending, the only one that's really getting fucked and that's going to eventually die is Mayel.
I mean, yeah, and that's why I don't blame Mayel for doing what she does, you know, because unless this game also like, if this game also is like souls exist or whatever, which it kind of implies as well, because Verso's soul is chilling in there, not happy at all. Um, and if that's a
That shit
real
was fucked
thing,
watching
then
him
that's
die.
a whole different story.
Oh
Then
my
she's just
God,
a
man.
shitty sister. But yeah. But I think Verso's ending is the correct choice because it allows people in the quote unquote real video game world to continue their lives, and that's pretty awesome. However, I personally, as someone who has handled most of life problems by fully immersing myself in fake worlds, feel as though it's like super hypocritical of me to say that Alicia, a child, can't live in her painting because like her
the thing
family
is
trauma is crazy.
the rest of her family is
And
getting
it will
fucked up
kill
by
her.
this decision too, because they don't want her to be stuck in the painting. So at the end of the day, it's a massively selfish decision for her to stay inside the painting, even
But
though
she
her life
earned
is
it.
technically better inside of it.
But she earned it, you know? Like,
It's literally worse for every single one person involved except for Mayo.
well, the only one that really cares is Renoir.
I think the
Renoir is the
mother
only good character in the
SK
whole
yeah,
game, in my
SK is
opinion.
pure
Like
Or any
morally.
mother.
Whoa, SKA.
The mother is the one that spliced her. As far as I know, I could be wrong on this. I might have misconstrued something here, but the mother was selfish enough to splice Mayel's and
that was good.
Alicia's fucking brains
Alicia,
together
the character Alicia,
and keep her in the
fucking
painting
hates her
longer.
life. Yeah, well, Mayel is just a version
Yeah,
of
which is why I don't blame
Alicia
her
that
being in the
loves
painting.
life. But I don't think the splice is actually bad.
Yeah, but since they're like coincide, I keep saying Mayel and Alicia. They are the same person. But, like, yeah, I'll use Alicia more. Yeah, I think for Alicia to stay in the painting and for her to do that to her brother is full
But
like, I don't think it's
that's the other thing. Is
sociopathic
it
because
fake,
it's all
though?
fake
'Cause it's
anyway,
more like
you know, in the game.
we don't
Like
really know, that's what I'm confused by, because if you just think it's like, yeah, they're, like, creating, like, a digital world with, like, AI, but then even then you can go that far, it's like, well, if it's sentient, is it fake? 'Cause I hate just saying the painting's fake.
Yeah,
But the thing is and it implies at the end of the game that the painting no longer, like, doesn't wanna exist anymore because they're forcing the soul of
Yeah.
Verso to continue to paint even though he doesn't want to anymore. He's sick of it. And
and
then
you could
Mayo literally tries to stop him from making him stop painting.
well, say we're in the painting is real aspect of the self, then if we're saying the painting's real in the aspect, then, aside from the shit she does to Verso, then Mayel's ending makes her truly a altruistic being. She is sacrificing her real body to give CL her husband back, to bring Gustav back to life, to bring the community back together. You know, then she's like a great person
Well,
because
for what?
she.
Only for her to die and then the painting to stop existing anyways.
Well, that's the fucked thing.
I don't know how
think
long
so
she can. What did they say? 15 more years or something?
Yeah, which it also gets interesting. It's like,
Time
what
goes differently, I
effect
think,
does
in the
having,
painting
like,
than it does in
hundreds
real
of
life.
years of life in your mind play through while your body's only aging, like, a day, you know? Right. No, like, 'cause that's fucked too.
Couple years at a time.
But like for in defense of the Mayel, because they really make you not like the Mayel ending. It's like this avant-garde French horror film at the end, and like
Yes, bit weird.
it's fucked up. And but in reality, here's the facts that they've laid out. She watched her brother die in a fire in real life. Then she restarts life in a world where people turn into flowers every year, and she has to watch all of them die. Then she watches Gustav die. Then he finds out her dad killed him. And then after crawling her way through the whole game to keep the people she cares about now, to keep, like, the idea of being able to keep her voice and stuff, because apparently she's mute in real world too, she has to fight a painted version of her brother and watch him die while he repeatedly says that this is not the life he wants. Then she can live in her, like, dollhouse that she gets to have. So I think she earned it.
I don't think she earned, like,
I guess it just really,
like preventing her family from ever seeing her again.
it just,
Yeah, I
just
think there are
matters
things
how
you
much.
can't ever earn, right? Like, I don't think
I think she went through enough.
I think that speaks to the thought-provoking nature of this game, which is like, this is like, just could have been a series or a movie, and it would have been like crazy in that context. But I feel like as
Really
a
comes
game,
to, it's like, how do you
even
value the
crazier.
painting? It's like, what if, I guess we can fucking go meta. What if it's like,
value fucking anything in this game.
it's implied that there's many
It's
other
kind of
paintings,
implied
too,
that she could just
with
make
other
another
worlds.
painting. Right. The reason why they were stuck on this painting because it was
It's like, what if we're in a painting right
and he
now?
was he was like
If we're in a
partially
painting
stuck.
right now, does that make this not real?
So they can't get him back.
Well, that's what I said earlier. It's like,
But,
if
like,
I
I'm
was in a
saying, what if
painting right now, I don't know if I would
me
go
and
back
you
to
right
what
now,
is
we're
quote
painting?
unquote real.
So it's like, what if we're painted, I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I preferred the painted because I have so much emotional and time
Does that
and
make it
all
not
of that.
real?
I'm good being a painting. If I'm a painting right now and my real body,
Or you
no, it's
you're like,
it's
you're
real
kinda like,
enough.
you don't think it's 100% real, though? Yeah, but what if, I'm saying, like,
No,
so
it's
what if we
fake,
lived in a
but it's real
simulation?
enough
Is
to
that
me.
fake?
It's all real enough to me. For instance, I've had dreams that felt real. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's real in the moment. I'm sure with enough time spent out in the quote unquote real world, I would understand how fake this was, but this is all I
So I feel
know.
like
So
that's
it's
what
the
really
most
comes down to
real I
this, is
can
like,
get.
what do you value the, if the painting is just a painting, then it's kinda just bullshit, but I don't know. It's like that episode of Futurama where Bender has
It's like
the
Yeah.
it's like
the
who
people
gives a
living
fuck,
on him in
yeah.
space, dude. It is a goated episode.
Slight side train.
Goated episode, by the way.
I was doing more research into the story of this game, and this fucking journalist said that the ending of this game made it all about the family drama at the very last minute.
No.
I can't stand people, dude. It is
They've been
all about the family drama. Every single thing. It starts big and gets small, and the reason it's small is because it all boils down to that. And if you didn't fucking know that until the last 2 seconds, that's on you.
they were cooking this family drama aspect of it for so long. Literally, like, before even Act 2, like Mael was getting visions. And the visions didn't make any sense, but, like, now having played the game, the visions make perfect sense. They're talking about family and the visions. Like,
It just got me so peeved off that I put it in my notes. I'm
I
like,
saw
"This has
people
got my
complain that
fucking jimmies
when
ruffled
you
right now. What
fight
do you mean at the
Renoir
last
and
minute?"
like, at the
Yeah.
end where you beat him and then fucking Mael has whatever, they were kinda mad that, like, Lune and CL,
Yeah.
they didn't really have much to say about their world potentially being fucking erased. But at the same time, they're literally like, these people are gods,
Well,
essentially. 'Cause
for CL, I understand because they don't need to say anything. CL walks up and essentially commits suicide because she knows she's never gonna get her husband back, and that was her main motivator throughout the whole game. And Lune sits down because she doesn't know what to do now. The expedition's over, and it was a failure no matter how bad
no,
she
like,
wanted it
before that,
to
when fucking
succeed. So it's like,
Renoir is
those
talking with
all make sense. They
Mael,
don't
like,
need
they
to
had
say
no
anything.
input.
It
Even though they're like, "Yeah," but it's like, they are kinda gods, so it's like, what can they really say?
Oh, well,
The painter is basically a god, yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's like, actually,
I
dude,
wouldn't wanna jump into that conversation,
we'd like to
you
live.
know? Yeah. Also, they saw this dude fucking cut people's heads off with his cane in an instant, and they've seen her bring people back to life. So, you don't wanna go against the guy that can snap his finger and kill
Brought
you, and you
them
don't wanna
back to life
piss off
too,
the
they were fucking
person that can bring
reanimated.
back the
They
whole
got
family,
Gumage.
so yeah.
It does. It is actual real.
Homage, which is
I think it's a
does that even
phrase.
does that word even mean anything?
I looked it up. Exfoliate.
Speaking of phrases, while you continue this, exfoliate.
I thought it
The
would be something to do with flowers, but
there's this idea of we continue for those who come after, and that's a main thing throughout, like, most of the game, and this culminates in such a good payoff that was kinda rushed in the game, but in concept, it works perfectly. They go throughout the final parts of their expedition by collecting the souls, essence of everybody that's fallen throughout every previous expedition. So their souls were left there for those who came after, which I
And
think is
did
awesome.
you see the fucking? Because there's one journal entry. It's for like it's at
Big.
one point they like use their dead bodies to create a bridge so you can get over and fight this one Nevron. That shit's crazy. Or like they sent out literally just expeditions to
Right.
Yeah.
install the footholds so you could climb.
It's like this has been one big, like, large thing, which adds to it. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of history behind people like, working together to figure shit out. And that's another concept. Like, there's so many themes in this because the family, the Desandre family hasn't worked together through this grief at all. They've all sort of done their own thing, and there's like little hints at it being different stages of grief and everything, but the whole game's a metaphor about griefs, and the painting being drug abuse isn't
It's like a
necessarily the
parallel.
strongest, like, I'm for certain that this is it, but it's
I
it's
was
definitely
seeing alcoholism,
it's something,
but
similar of, like, you're not in reality and you're staying out of reality to avoid the problem, and that could be done numerous ways, but and that's the only thing against Verso's ending, in my opinion. Without Verso talking to Verso's soul and saying he doesn't wanna be there, I think it's a much weaker ending. I think that really adds it all together because if you don't have that little scene in there, then you're just forcing a family to grieve at the pace that you want instead of the pace that they want, whether it's healthy for them or not. And I don't
But
know
then
what the
also the
proper
Verso
amount
ending's
is
kind
to
of fucked because
grieve,
he
and I
just
don't
wants
think
to
that should be
die.
anyone's decision.
No, it's completely selfish in reality. So it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it is, but it isn't though because he also agrees with Renoir in the first place. He thinks that in the end it's the best for Mael.
Which I agree with Renoir too. I think Renoir has the best motivation, the most moral compass in the entire game. He's done horrible, horrible things to maintain that
it's
moral
real.
compass.
Yeah, but
But
horrible things in a world that's not even real. So it depends on your perspective.
but
To
that
them, to
that
them,
being said, all I see in Renoir is a man that really just loves his family so much, and he's trying to push it back together.
Also, he drops a line basically saying that he was also in the painting, stuck in the painting, and the wife was the one who dragged him out of it.
He was stuck in the monolith for 67 years. And that's ironic because
He
that's
did that.
exactly the amount of time I was stuck in the
That's one
tower.
of my only gripes with the game
Yeah.
is Act 3 is kind of wonky because I don't it's like, are you supposed to go beat the game? Which I feel like is what's intended
Yeah.
because that's the only way it's balanced. But they also give you access.
Half of the stuff
It's like
is
you
like
do it in order
piss
and then it's
easy, and then the other
fine, but
half is
then
like
because it's like
impossible.
I did all the extra shit and then I went and beat the game and I literally one shot everything, which is
Right.
yeah, the end of the game for me was pretty unfortunate,
no.
to be honest.
Anybody here know any moves that the final boss does?
I mean,
'Cause I
No,
don't.
I didn't see any of them.
Okay. Well, I'm on the opposite end of you, Colin, honestly, genuinely. Like, I think that the end of the game is the best set for what it is, because you have the option. I like that you have the option to just go and beat the game if you want, or you can stay longer in the
yeah,
painting,
it's just
which I think
weird.
coincides with what
I
the
feel
game
like
is
it should
trying
be
to tell you.
scaled to your level maybe
The
for that last part, just so that's somewhat of a challenge.
Yeah.
I think it.
Well,
Yeah, I
that
think it
too,
probably
if we're
should have been harder. I mean,
I
they should
did
make
get
you
a
do at least a
chance to
little bit
see
of this end game
the
content.
There's
desperation
cut
move
scenes he
from Final
does.
Boss. I thought maybe everyone got to see that, but
where he goes into the painting?
Yeah, it does
well, like
stop. You
you're
can't
like
nuke him
I
like
feel like
100%.
his HP was stopped at a certain point, and then he does like he does like a fly in the air move or whatever, and it's like a bullshit insane like 50 move string, and then
Oh yeah,
next
yeah.
time he goes around, and then it's like a forced death. Like he just kept attacking until everyone was dead.
Dude,
Yeah,
Simon
okay. And then he does it again, and then Mile goes,
was
"Not this
fucked, dude.
time."
I was like,
Oh, I didn't
what's
get
the
any. I
fucking
didn't take any damage at all.
Oh, we did, like, the
Yeah,
cutscene where he
Simon was
Wait,
kills
fucking.
him.
Brabdo, you didn't get the "not this time" thing, or what?
No, I don't think so. Like there was a cutscene, but
I got the cutscene of not this time. I didn't get the 50,000 slash thing. He just dropped a painting onto
Wait,
the
but that's the move that she cuts him out of the sky from. Like, but
yeah, but it was all cutscene. There was no interaction.
I did not get past
so
my
like
first
before.
character's turn on the final boss.
No, so what happens, Brabdo, right? Is no matter how much damage you deal, it halts his HP at
Right, and then he
-6.
does a cutscene.
And then it does a cutscene where he flies in as a cutscene attack, where he fly into the sky, and Mael go, "Hiya, stabby."
Yeah, she jumps, and then the fight ends.
So for me, Mael didn't go stabby. He continued the animation, went, got the motherfuckers in the back, sucked some power
Oh,
from them, and then did a bajillion swing
Didn't
until my
nuke
whole
him,
party
dude.
was dead combo. Kept going.
I
That's
did
what
not
I'm
see that.
saying. And then the
I didn't see
second
it.
time, Mael said, "Not this time," and then struck him out of the sky. And I did the
So
same thing both times.
I don't know how that.
Not this time.
That's
So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check out that move animation because
I
it's
don't even is
fucking
the
Simon was
Simon
insane.
fight
crazy,
even
bro.
possible if you
That
don't
move
nuke
was
him?
fucking
'Cause
insane.
I
so
was
definitely
fighting
check
like
it
he deletes your party.
out. No, man. No, because
I mean, I
I
found
was
a
on the
way.
hard difficulty, and I was, like, a little, like, under leveled at the time, and I was, like, not getting hit, and it still is,
Dude.
like, I don't know. I don't know what you can possibly fucking do to kill that guy
So
without
I
just, like,
fought him the first
that
time. I didn't
one.
know. I just was going through the area, and I like, and you fall down the hole, and I'm like, I feel like this is probably some big serious boss. And then like, because this was I didn't do that much optional content yet, and I didn't have my build in
That's
order.
what I was
I
fucked when he
still
was like,
got up to the point where he
Simon
nukes the
deletes
party.
the expedition. I'm like,
So
what
it
the
wasn't
fuck?
that hard to get there.
Yeah,
But then I thought, I was like,
see ya,
oh,
bro.
I see now. I see now. I'm like, so you need to have 2 parties set up to do this. So that's what I started cooking on. So I made like the infinite unkillable Verso build, and then I was like, okay, so Verso's gonna die, and then the party's gonna come back, and then Mael is gonna nuke for the rest of the damage.
And then
And
my
even
build was
then,
just
my
the
Mael build was
roulette.
not that good because I still needed to hit like 3 times.
Okay, I never fought Simon.
Yeah.
Simon is
Can
from
you guys give me
Brabdo
the
just
skinny
got
on
it.
who Simon is pertaining to the lore?
Simon is I don't really get. I
So,
bet she's
Simon is from
like
the original
a character I
expedition,
think
and
created
it's
by
Clay's
Clair.
lover. He's from Expedition 0. And he's when
Right.
they find that first Axon in the
Okay.
battlefield, and they're like, I don't know how they killed this Axon. He killed the Axon because basically
Yeah.
I think it's the Paintress. It might be Clea. But they gave him some like power. I don't know. It fucked with his head. So he's all fucked. That's who he is. He killed the Axon. So he's obviously fucking
Okay.
nuked out of his brain. And yeah, he can just delete your whole party.
Which is crazy because usually, like, through the whole game, I was like, yeah, I only have 3 good characters. Why would I have the other 2 characters? Like, if I die, I'll just
I
redo the
did
fight.
feel it
But
was
this game
weird
literally
there wasn't
forces you to have a
3
second set of good
for
characters.
the other team.
Well,
That's
that's
3 and it feels weird. I don't get that.
Right. 3 and 2. Like, if you had the reserve
Not
team
that the
was like
game yeah,
another
the game
3, but
didn't
then I'm
need
thinking like,
another
well,
character,
maybe it would have
honestly.
just been too much.
there was a point in time where I was quite miffed that I had more characters than are in my party, but they're all in the cutscenes. Because it's like you can only have 3, but I have 4 to 5 characters in my party, so why can't they all fight? Are they really just gonna stand there, like, to the side? And I don't know, but that gripe went
Yeah, if you had
away
5
once
people
I
fighting,
learned
dude,
that it's a
it'd be
balance
fucked.
thing, because you eventually become god tier. Because there's a point in the game where the turn economy looks really, really bad, and then you fight this dude that's chilling in the ocean, and you get the cheater picto, which lets you take another turn.
Return, you get another
One
turn,
of
so
the
you
first creations.
basically double your speed stat.
Yeah. So it's like when it comes to the game, like, mechanically and combat-wise, I do wish it opened up for me 'cause, it seems as though I had a different viewpoint on mechanics, than other people.
Well,
I
basically,
it opened
it came down to this: the more you explored, the more you did in the game, the more shit you got, the more powerful you were.
Yeah, and it
Like,
opened up a
as a
lot more,
one-to-one.
at the end, so much so that, like, I I I went through the whole campaign except for the final boss, and then right before the final boss, the whole game opens up really big, and I went to this tower, and I spent more time in the tower than I did up until the point of getting to the tower, and throughout that, I would leave the tower every now and again to find other stuff, and, that's where the building really came in, 'cause the
Yeah.
Pictos that you get in that ending area are astounding. Way more game changing than the ones you find while on the
100%.
regular campaign, which is why the pacing of the battle system, is different in my eyes because I didn't really, cook that hard. I cooked with skills like a regular RPG, but in
Which is one
reality, it's
small
all about
complaint.
the
I wish there was
Pictos
a
in this
better way
game.
to, like,
Yeah, the Pictos is
look through
everything.
them. It's a little cluttered.
Yeah, there's so many. Once you get, like, a bunch, it's really becomes hard to navigate through
Yeah.
them. Like, you can sort by alphabetical, but I wish there was a
Yeah.
search.
Dude, the
Yeah.
Luminas, I was dreading like, resetting and doing a new build in Luminas, like,
Like, it's
having every
sick, you have so
pixel
many
perma
options and
unlocked for
shit,
each
but
kit,
yeah,
you're like,
it gets
"Oh my
cluttered quick.
goodness," like, "Oh, how many points?"
Hopefully, that's, like, something they could fix in, like, an update, though, easily.
Um,
Yeah, I could see that.
my next point, though, if we're unless there's something else y'all wanna say about it,
No, by all means.
is how enjoyable
Like,
the
all
optional
good.
content is in this game.
It's the best
Um,
content in the game.
not only are there the best fights, things like the tower are fun, like it's the serpent garbage in the sky. You're like, let me fly up here. Once you get fly, you get fucked. You're like, oh, I'll come
The
back later.
the flying
Um,
manor was
and
peak.
then the goofy stuff. Like
The
as much as the game
parkour.
takes itself seriously in the story, it didn't take itself seriously as a game. It took its
Right.
Yeah, they got parkour. They got only up with fucking
Yeah,
the goofy ass
I
like,
gave
what are
that a
we
couple
talking
tries.
about? Yeah, fun obstacle courses, things like that, to give you just
Tons of drip in the game.
customizable stuff, drip for your characters, things like that. Like, um, I was
Yeah,
very
oh yeah,
pleased
dude.
with
I had
the,
my shit was dripped out.
turn off the lock-in. I was playing on that hard difficulty, so I had to turn on parry slap mode times infinity sometimes. So, like, taking a little break from locking in to parry a bunch of stuff to, just like, look fly around in a cool looking place, maybe find, like, an obstacle course or, like, a new person I hadn't seen or talked to, like, "Oh, there's a lost guy here, I get a new power up from the chef back at home," I don't know, it was very, enjoyable exploration and optional content in this game as well, aside from how amazing the,
There is a lot of games where I feel like the optional
hardcore,
content
like,
is, like,
story.
they'll introduce it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
never touching any of this bullshit." It's collecting or all that I'm like, "I'm good."
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Nice mechanic, bro.
Some of it,
Honestly,
yeah.
it's to the point where I think the optional content should have been non-optional.
Well, yeah, and that's good as it feels for the most part, that's what's good is it feels like you can do as much or as little as the optional content as you want, and it feels like it kind of just weaves into you finishing the game, and
Like the
it's
one where you go erase,
Or you mean
Kalea from, like,
Alicia?
the big,
Yeah,
stick
yeah, yeah,
tower.
yeah.
Did anyone
That
do
should be
that?
mandatory. That has so
Nope.
much, like yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that should have been
Yeah, and there's
mandatory.
and there's a lot of shit like that, like, just from, like, even just, whether it's, like, small goofy stuff to actual important, like, lore drop that you wouldn't know unless you looked it up later, like, stuff in the optional content, so, I don't know, it was honestly kinda nice that they had that. I kind of appreciate I know you guys are saying, uh, it'd be cool if they had it, like, just all main stuff, even the especially the stuff that, like, is actually very lore droppy, but I like
That's true.
when there's a bit of, you only get this if you go looking for it, of lore.
Yeah, I'll never get the full lore
Yeah,
of this
DLC
game because I
drops.
don't think I'm gonna play it again for a while. But it's a game to marinate on, and the fact that they have such serious themes with such complex emotions through a very dense story, and then still find time to do whimsy shit like new game plus baguette mode with the stereotypical French striped shirt overalls and shit.
Yeah.
Like the amount of whimsy that they still managed to pack in this game is crazy.
Yeah, the
Um,
fucking mimes just being a hidden
Or the
enemy that
petanques,
are
dude.
give you good shit. They're just a mime. It's just, "Aha," 'cause we're in Paris and it's French company. Yeah, like, all of that shit's, like, it's good stuff.
This is the
Like,
first
it's
game in a
good,
long time where it's like
it
anytime I got to a new area, I spent so long just running around looking for, like, every little thing to pick up.
yeah, no, I wasted so much time going into corners and not or, like,
Dude, there's so many,
trying
like,
to
little
zoom
pictos,
in on
dude.
the map while I was SGA looking, "Oh, is there something in this corner here, dude?" Yeah.
well,
Uh-huh.
And
that
then most of them are, like, really good and useful, they all, like, add to your busted build.
and that's something that we haven't even touched on throughout the entirety of the show is that we haven't talked about how absolutely gorgeous this game is. And not only that, the abstractness of the structures in this painting are actually showcased in Mayel's ending, where it does have the curved flaccid Eiffel Tower, and it does have these buildings that are almost non-Euclidean in architecture and the way that they're curved and warped and stuff to show that, yeah, this is not reality, but this is the world that they're in now, you know? And the juxtaposition of that to Verso's ending, where you are looking over at the perfectly straight, made how it was designed in real life Eiffel Tower, with flowers being actual flowers instead of people. But this game has some of the most beautiful skyscapes and like even the manor that you can go throughout the entire game. Like the manor's interior design is great. Like the game is gorgeous.
And yeah, the difference between like in level versus that overworld stuff is honestly really cool. Like, of course, it's like that Dark Souls like very common third person camera when you're in a level or whatever exploring before you get into combat. But then you get out of world as well, and then you have an even broader FOV and you can fly around and take a look at all these crazy like how the world's built and how these mountains
And
have
the
gotten
scale. It's
fucked
like
by
you're
these
so
people
tiny
living
and then you
here
got an
and
SK
et
who's pretty
cetera, et
fucking
cetera.
big, and then
It's
you fly up to
honestly,
shit and
yeah.
it's like 40
Yeah.
times the size.
And you're like, "Oh." Yeah, so to double down on that point about how beautiful it is, yeah, they also go out of their way to make all of the scenery and the exploration because of that extra enjoyable.
Which I've seen in another game. We played Xenoblade Chronicles X, and the whole
Oh.
time you're waiting so patiently to get this spacesuit to fly around, and they somehow, like, made it less enjoyable to fly around,
Nah,
and they
any other game that does this, SK would move 3 times slower. They'd never give him that much
When
speed.
that
You'd
dude
have
hits
to
True.
water,
fucking
dude.
take
Yeah,
a blimp over to the next area.
but,
But the
like,
fact you have freedom is crazy.
I could never understand why in other games, well, mainly Xenoblade Chronicles X, when you got the thing that you've been wanting and you get it, it's not it's kind of underwhelming, whereas when in this game you start flying, it has so much stuff that you weren't able to do yet, and it genuinely does just open up the world.
Every new
Um,
ability, I was like, "Oh, Imma go around." Even, like, you can break coral. I was
Ori
like, "Oh, yeah? I can break coral?" Like,
Almost felt
even
like
the
it had
dumbest
some, like,
ones, I was like, "Yo, Imma go
what do you
exploring
call it?
now."
Like
Okay,
Metroidvania
what else we
aspect when I
got?
got the coral break. It's like, "Oh, now I can." It's like, "Now I can go over here and check with this thing that I couldn't
It
get to
it
because the fucking I
definitely
didn't have the
did.
coral fucking."
Yeah. Yeah, Metroidvania ass overworld for sure with getting those, things to perma upgrade new paths and parts of the map.
Oh, the music, dude. There's
are we ready for scores yet? Anything else?
the music?
some
Anybody
bangers,
mention?
dude.
Oh,
The
well,
music,
come
oh
on,
my
that
how could we
like
forget?
like,
What's that one
the
fight,
best
dude?
soundtrack in, like,
They
the
just
last
randomly hit you.
fucking
It's like the
decade.
Gablu. It's just
Well,
they hit you with that fucking French techno, dude.
Yeah, there was some funny ones. They were like,
Dude, no, that's the,
"It's the Gesture Village."
I first heard that in the, above the
Oh,
Gestural
yeah.
Village, there's, like, that, the evil Gestural Arena or whatever the fuck it's called. That in those battles, I heard that techno gestural for the first time. I was like, "Yo,
Battle
we're-
fight. You're going to fight. Battle fight. Brr, brr,
I
brr.
almost had to take a second and start, shaking my hips. You know what I'm saying?
He's bopping, dude.
The music, especially on the Renoir fight before you fight the Paintress, was astounding. I was locked in. It fully immersed me, that song, that boss song that's playing. And the ending song, the somber Clair Obscur, like that shit like that is just tremendous. It's not
I
as
got a little
systemic
sick
as
of it at
Nier,
the end, but it's good.
And
but
the Alicia's theme is just good. They have a bunch of different versions of it throughout the entire game, and that's
yeah.
fun.
I would say there's some good, but there's some
I think it's
absolute
the motif
fucking,
for
like,
the song or
top
for the
10
game.
video game bangers in there.
Eek.
I was so because usually they fuck.
Yeah.
We're
There's
talking
always
about
like
the
one
voice
character.
acting quality.
Yeah, it feels like a TV show
I
with
didn't
like
even
real
think about it.
actors.
You don't even think about it, how good it is, because it just, these characters are think good. And I looked them
It
into it.
was
It's like
good stuff.
you got like
Really
Andy
good.
Serkis, you got like just a bunch of other AAA actors, and you're like, yeah, dude,
Well,
these guys they kill it. Like Renoir,
you never just get that one
Gustav,
character that's
Mael,
like,
they're
wow, I
all
wish I
like
could just
fantastically
fucking
voice
mute.
acted.
Which most JRPGs have. They have this annoying ass little character for 60 hours.
I thought it was going to be the first shopkeep. I thought that was going to be the only shopkeep
The
for the
gestural
game, and he
tongue,
was
dude.
going to speak in like this
And instead they
Yeah.
give you Gaelic British Monaco to come in and
Dude,
go.
and the Monaco and SK voice actors are the funniest. Which, by the way, every character has an English and a French voice actor, except for SKA. It's the same.
On a me, dude.
It's the same guy.
Wait, they're the same guy. That's funny.
He's hiding all
Yeah,
that
in
wine in him,
French.
dude.
Mon ami.
Mon ami.
Exactly.
Exactly. Wee. Some are like woo woo, but some are like woo.
Now that I might have to play that through again just for
No love
play
for Francois,
SDA
dude.
percent.
You bring him the
when you go
rock.
back,
Fuck
when you max
Francois,
out, I
dude.
know Frank didn't see this because he didn't max out, but when you max out SKA relationship, you go back to Francois and he's like, I don't want
I'll
this
take it.
rock. He goes, I don't. But he did in fact want the rock.
You did, in fact. Yeah, I'll take it. You
that
fucking
was the
dirty
one
kid.
quest line that I didn't. I'm like, there's 9 things, and go get them for. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the tower, and I'm gonna fight everything in it
It was
because it says
talk
it's
to them
endless.
9 times, and then the last time was one quest, and the quest is like, go here, kill this thing. That's it.
What was there anything important I missed? Can I get the lore drop on
For other
like the
characters?
relationship thing? Like I literally got 1 level throughout my entire.
Yeah, there's like each
So-
character has a
so
quest
Lu-
at the end of their relationship
So
stack.
for Lune,
Yeah,
you find out
did I miss
how
anything
her
fucking
parents
important out
died.
of it? Or
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
Backstory.
like fuck.
What happened to her parents? Yeah.
Go
Oh, okay.
underwater.
For SKA, you go back to Francois and you get the stone.
Mhm.
What you
You
call
go,
it?
That lets you go under.
Oh, I did do that one. I got the
Yeah, you
underwater.
must have done
Yeah.
that one.
Noko
And you
is
find out
actually
the
like
little guy is the older guy in
Monoko's
one of them,
guardian.
right?
But he keeps dying, so he's like fucking childish. But he's actually like the elder. What? And then
So
who
he's
else?
like younger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just keeps
okay, that
dying.
makes sense. Wait, the little thing is the elder? Oh, the one
Yeah.
that. Oh God! So he was like, happened
No,
again.
it's,
That's why he's acting
CL,
that
you
way
find out
during the
because you know how
cutscene,
they
I
keep
see.
like hinting like,
Okay, that makes
how
more
does
sense.
SK know she can't swim or whatever? Yeah, she basically
Yeah.
Oh,
when her,
that's right.
yeah,
this
her
was
husband
a good
died
little
and
side plot.
basically wanted to kill herself, and
'Cause
she was pregnant or whatever, and she swam out into the ocean, and she was gonna die, but SK I guess saved her and brought her
She
back,
swam out in
but
the
she lost
ocean.
the baby.
But she had no idea. She had no idea it was him all along. It was just like revealed, like, oh yeah, we've met before.
And his
was
little legs were swimming
Yeah.
at 1,000 miles an hour, dude.
Exactly.
Oh shit!
I think you also find out through the
Yeah,
male
you basically
storyline that
you can either
that
lie
he
to Mayo
allowed
or
Gustav
tell
to
the
die.
truth, but he basically could have saved
Which is the bad one, by the way. The lying locks you out. Yeah, he let it happen. Which is why I said it was contrived that he showed up late. It actually wasn't contrived at all. He wanted Gustav to die because he knew that if Gustav was still alive, that Mael would not have wanted to kill the Painters had she found out what the implications of that were going to be.
5D chess, dude.
Which is crazy. I'm like, dude, this plot is so good. I'm this is peak.
Which Brabdo was nicknaming Verso Beer Fest because you just so happen to have the same moveset as Gustav when you
Right.
get Verso.
It's
And
like
which
it
is
was
why
like
I
your
think that he is like one of those Verso clones that didn't quite make it. But I looked into it while we were doing this, and it is one of those up to interpretation type things. So I can't say I'm right, but they're not identical, but they're close. I don't
I
know
liked
what
all the
is
characters'
exactly
mechanics
going on.
too.
There's
I
no
forgot
real
about
answer
that.
to it.
They're all pretty
Um,
unique.
Yeah, each character has their own different play style. Although I feel that there's, like, good and bad ways to play.
Yeah, I mean, also the characters, like, are
Yeah.
wildly, and I mean wildly unbalanced in how
Yeah,
useful
like,
they
Lune
are.
is
Like,
useless, Monaco is useless.
I forced playing
Yeah, and only one
Monaco,
of those is
Lune, and
good.
Mael the whole way because I liked those characters on my comp, and objectively, like, Gustav is, well, and or Verso are just so insane, it's just trolling pretty much to not have like, the difference in these characters, like, I unlocked every single ability for Monaco, and man, is that guy mid.
they're so
He ended
bad.
up he ended up just being, uh, use powerful on my team. The powerful also gave shell/shielding, and then would use him to build up 50% break whenever he had a specific rune.
And that's and
Other than
CL is
that, he
basically
was
like,
just, like,
"Oh, I can make you play
mid-ass
whenever and
damage the
buff you
whole
to
way
do
through.
double damage. Here you go."
Yeah.
That's my biggest thing is that I never wanted to play Verso. I had CL with Mail and Lune for every time except for halfway through the tower. Then I put Verso on my team, and Verso is so good that he bricks
Yeah.
CL into just making Verso give him another turn. That is what CL did
Yeah.
for the whole back
And
half once I started using Verso.
And Lune is
Tried to make
so
Lune build for
incredibly
it.
useless. I found like, I had a build that was pretty decent with her, but, like, as soon as the game started, and I got around to having her, I was like, "Oh," I was looking at the
Right.
tree, I was like, "Oh, there's a revive." I'm on the hard difficulty, so having a revive in my party will be sick. Later
No.
in the game, I find
Yeah.
out the only reason I'm needing this revive is because she's in my fucking
I
party.
used her
So, like, what are we talking about
I
here? Like,
used her for
that
I
was
was,
a
like,
bit of a
almost to the end
troll.
of the
stacking all these
tower, and then I was
explosions
like,
and shit.
"I don't know if I can finish this end game content with her." She's so
It's not that she's
yeah.
that bad, it's just
Because
that,
all
like,
I did was
it
swap her out with
just
CL and
objectively
just
worse
have
than, like,
her buff
anything
and
else.
fucking let someone play again, and I was instantly stronger by doing that, which is crazy.
Y Yeah. I gave in on my team comp
It's
for a
like
couple of fights where I
you
just
can
had
do
my
it, but
LCL and, Verso instead of
Yeah, I had to get rid of
my
Lune
team of
and
goons.
CL in, and by the way, my CL build was completely empty Pictos, nothing, literally just the go twice thing, and she only had one ability, and that was the make Verso go again ability.
Yep.
Dude, I forgot to have the painted power on CL for, like, a billion years. She
It's
just
not
kept
even
Oh,
doing
it's not
no.
even
99 she kept doing, like, 9999. I was like, "What the?" And I kept forgetting because I rarely used her, and then the next time she would come out, whether, like, my team died or something, she'd do just 10K every time.
yeah,
I'd be like, "Fuck,
barely
fuck."
more than 99, yeah, it's not even worth.
But yeah,
Did I
when the and I even had 4 different, like, pseudo builds, like, 4 fringe builds because I had a weapon for Verso that did fire damage, and then I had a weapon for Verso and these are all leveled up to as high as you can get without, like, the perfect one to make it, like, twice as strong.
even if you
I
get
had
the peg, it's still not good, just so you know.
Yeah. I had the one that did a lightning strike every time you critted, but the one I settled on was, the one that gives you an armor every time you do a perfect parry because the game is parry slop. So I ended up having 9 armor at all times, and you got 10% more damage for each armor that you had. So that lets you hit millions and millions and millions. Um, so you do go from being locked at 9999 until endgame, which if you don't experience on any of it and you go to the end boss, you never get to know, but you can hit millions upon I mean, before patch, billions of damage. It's sick. I like when the number goes up. I was posting
I hit
in
Simon with
chat of
84
like when I
million.
first hit 1 million, when I first hit 2 million. I did not even come close to that. You laughed me hard. Well, Brabdo laughed me while I was in the tower. I was in the tower for so long and grinding so deep into this tower
Yeah, that's
that
what
Brabdo did all that other stuff, walked right through it, and waved goodbye to me, dude.
But it's funny because you saw me cooking on this revive build, and you're like, "Oh man, you're screwed when you get to the guy that heals after you revive because you're not gonna cook." And then I just killed him normal without dying.
Yep,
is
did fine.
Elden Ring parry
So-
slop.
I didn't really go anywhere.
He didn't even know he beat
Is
it. He
Elden
didn't
Ring
even know.
parry slop?
I didn't even know that I'd beaten.
That's
No.
crazy. Alright, move on.
No, it's not.
Well, you don't have to parry in this game either.
No, because I never parried in Elden Ring. I went through 2 playthroughs, and I never hit a parry once.
Sekiro is parry slop.
Sekiro is 100%, 1000%.
Well, I
Sekiro
mean,
is the reason parry
So
slop
like
exists.
every one of these games, right? It just switches out the mechanic for something called different, but it's the same thing. So like, is
Yeah.
Elden Ring then? Is it dodge slop?
It is dodge
That's
slop.
what it's
So
like
that's the
this.
same
It's like the
fucking
same
thing. That's the same
like-
fucking thing.
Yeah, it's more or less the
Instead
same.
of instead of a defensive mechanic being interesting,
You could say this game's
now
dodge
you just
slop.
can either roll or not roll and get hit and take damage.
Well, I think the problem is that you guys
No, no,
keep
no.
putting slop as negative connotation.
Well,
All
that's why I
slop
asked the Elden
means in
Ring
this
question, just to
context
see
is
what
it's
you meant
something
by
you have to
slop,
do
but also slop is
extensively throughout
kind
the
of like
game.
inherently a negative thing. It is. Slop is what pigs eat, dude.
It does sound
It's
derogatory,
like
and that's the
tongue-in-cheek.
humor in it, and
Like
that's the
tongue-in-cheek
humor in it.
derogatory.
I think it's funny to say slop when it comes to games that are tremendously good, because it's like, yeah, Elden Ring is dodge slop, but it's not just
The way I
dodge.
see slop is that it's like a crutch. It's like, okay, well, just dodge. And then
Yeah, it's also
Like,
it's also attack and beautiful open world slop. Like, what are we talking about?
right. I didn't say. Listen, just because.
Yeah, you're right. It is
game,
beautiful open world.
Like, this is the stupidest.
I
You're
went
right,
in
you're
with
right.
listen. I went in with high expectations. Then I was like, this is parry slop. But then the game won me over again. I was like, wait, that's actually
You were
peak.
pretty fucking
that
hard
story
until
started
you
hitting?
you
Oh,
loathed
the
the
beginning of
parry
the game
button.
is kind of rough with it.
You detested this parry button for the longest time.
Well, let me tell you, if the end game didn't exist, then this game would have gotten a lot lower on this.
Story mode,
But
dude.
this guy
But
did it
it
on the
does
easy
exist.
difficulty
Wheelchair
with only
Willy mode.
Yeah,
dodging.
I don't want to hear about that.
But no, there is a harsh injustice and, like, brutal irony in calling this game parry slop, and the only reason I keep saying it is because of how good the game is around the parry system.
It's the best
I hate
parry
the word
slop. You
slop.
should
It's like
never
dog
not play.
water.
You should
It's
definitely.
obviously a bad thing.
Everyone should play this game. This is like mandatory.
Ooh, bad.
I
Ooh.
don't think there's
Not
we
Night
don't
Rain?
live in a world where this isn't game of the year.
Yeah.
We're only
Night
halfway
Rain's
through the year.
not- Night Rain is not.
Night Rain is not it.
What's gonna be game of the year if not this? This game was
I
built to be
haven't
game of the
played
year.
I haven't played Doom Dark Ages yet.
I mean,
haven't
It's
played
not
it.
gonna be that.
As
People are
cool as
saying it's
Night
mid.
Rain is, that shit is like not enough content to be close to game.
I mean,
This is like
I'll
Oscar
drop
bait.
my
If
score
Oscar
at
bait
10.
was a video game, it would be
Giving it a
this.
10.
Yeah,
Not 10.
that's what I was gonna say.
You're a 10?
I'm a 9.
I'm at a 9.
I was for the longest
That's my-
time debating between the
need
two
the four,
numbers
though.
that have just
10.
been given, and
Couple of nitpicks.
the reason that I ended on a 10 is that I just simply thought, like,
Exactly.
as much as, like, of course there are some things that aren't perfect because nothing's ever going to be perfect, but like if this
That-
isn't going to get a 10,
That's my thing. If
I'm
a game,
literally
if
never
another
giving
game
anything a
lives
10
up
ever,
to
and then
this
what's the point of 10
game,
existing?
then I'll give it a
So this
10.
is
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a perfect baseline. Yeah.
This is the standard for, like,
Let's move
top
it
of
up.
the list for me.
I
Top.
guess 9.5. I would squeak up to a 9.5.
I've recommended this game to, like, anyone I think
Even
would
people who-
enjoy any little bit of it. I've been like, "Yo, you should play this shit." Like,
It's
that type of
definitely
game for
peak.
me that is-
It's
Well,
certainly
I can't be sat here with the lowest score at a 9, but I think I have to stand firm on it.
But I think it stands for how
Well,
good the
you
game
know what
is.
your
That's
other-
fine for
you
you.
know
Because
what
it's
you
not,
gave
yeah,
it
because
10
it's
out of
not a
10,
bad
but-
game. I don't think a 9 is doing a
And that's
disservice
what
to
I
it.
went
No,
back
it-
to, but this game might be better than Breath of the Wild. I think.
Breath of the Wild.
So I was like, I have to give it a 10. I enjoyed it more than
I
Breath of the
don't
Wild. I still
know.
think Breath of the Wild's a 10.
Definitely did what it
but-
was trying to do better.
Oh yeah, laps.
I mean,
I had more fun with the
story-wise, it's
gameplay.
definitely clear as Breath of the Wild. I didn't think
It's not even close story-wise.
That is I
this
thought
is
Bravdo was not gonna.
probably
that
the
is-
greatest story game that's ever existed.
Oh,
No. No.
what about Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones was good, and what did I give that? An 8?
No, I'm just saying, like, is that not like the most peak storyline of all time?
It was good, okay, but this
What
is
about
like
what
this
about
is some
episode
Christopher.
3
Bravdo
of
was
This
Star
is like
Wars?
fucking-
Christopher Nolan. This is like Oppenheimer. This is absolute cinema, bro. It's Martin Scorsese. His peak,
It is a
Bruh.
tremendous story.
and I don't have to recommend it
That's
unironically.
the other
like
thing. The
Kingdom
game was
Hearts, okay?
hyped
I'm
up.
just saying it's
The game was
crazy
so
that
hyped, and
I'm
it
hearing
lived up to
Bravdo
it.
likes a good game.
What? What can I say?
Which has never happened in my lifetime, by the way.
It went past the hype.
Like,
I didn't really get it.
not
Dude,
not
hype is like
one
the worst thing
time.
ever.
Since I've started buying
Bravdo's
like
the peak
Call of
example
Duty
because
Black
he kinda
Ops
didn't like the game
games
at
have
first.
the games
Now he's at a
fucking
fucking
lived
9.5.
up to the hype.
I
He was a
had to
hater.
warm up.
Bro was trying to drink
Dude.
a haterade every morning, but couldn't.
I just-
Eventually, it
oh,
broke
shit.
through.
It just tastes too good, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Tasted too good.
I might
I
think
have
about a new
sat
game
here-
plus run.
I've heard Brabdo crash out for hours on this game.
It-
And
The
to hear
story
a
cooks, dude.
9.5 is fucking that
This
no,
was
this
the
is a
surprise, dude.
tremendous game.
This was the surprise. The
I
Bravdo
can't
9.5.
in good faith give it a 10. I don't think cuz Brabdo says it's the best story
I
in the
did
game.
crash out.
I think it is one of the best. I don't think it is the best. I think it's top 3.
It's
To me-
so
to me, this is one of
complicated,
my
but it
top
just
5 games
literally
of all
like
time.
it just
creeped up,
lands
dude.
every single thing that happens.
It's up there.
It's definitely, and the fact that it's like a modern game with modern like, oh, I had some crash. You know what? This is why it was I had some technical difficulties with this game.
Yeah, but if Bravdo doesn't have technical difficulties with a game, then it's probably
No, I didn't have any problems with
every
Indian.
time Bravdo says, "I fucked this game fucked my computer up,"
And I'm not the only
I-
one. There's like crackling in the cutscenes sometimes, and like especially during the Simon fight, it was like the game was ripping itself
A
apart.
double-A game.
And the Clair Obscur fix, which I downloaded but had to get rid of because it kept crashing my game. But that's not really the game's fault.
He's a 10,
Yeah, I
dude.
mean,
He's
that's
a 10. He doesn't wanna
9.5.
say it, but
I didn't get
You might be able to
anything.
squeak me a 9.6, dude. I don't know. It's creeping.
I'm
We gotta
giving it a 9 with an asterisk. And the asterisk is that they had the sum of its parts are the whole of the game is tremendous. It's a tremendous accomplishment. It's from a fairly small in comparison size development group from a studio, like, to my knowledge, this is their first game, you know? They found their writer on Reddit. It's tremendous. It's astounding what they were able to
the
accomplish.
only thing
with
that
what they
sucks
had.
is whatever we
Who else
play
should die,
after
though?
this will almost certainly be worse. It's almost guaranteed.
No. Yeah, it's
Speaking of which,
it's no brief.
Speaking of
It's
which-
Shashi, but it's
It is-
working its way up.
there is a game coming after this thing.
Oh shit! Thank goodness.
What's it
I
gonna
thought it was
be?
Bravdo's pick, and I was so cooked if it was my pick because I did not.
It's, dude, the game of the month for the month
Oh
of
my
June
God.
2025
oh,
is Ray
I
Natus.
don't even know how to spell that.
Go ahead. Hop on.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, he says.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and Google it.
Yeah, what-
REYNATIS.
Oh my God. Why?
I've already vetted it.
Uh-huh. Oh no. Oh no. Oh,
This
no.
is a
Like
this
Haven.
is a game of the month game if I've ever
This
seen.
is a
Dude.
the
Why?
the worst I think type of game to pick after Clair Obscur.
Dude.
Clearly.
Brabdo.
What do you mean?
Brabdo.
You've played this?
I've already vetted this.
What do you mean you've already vetted this?
I've already vetted and decided that this was not going to be a game that I was going to pick for game of the month.
Too bad.
I am
I'm just
so
gonna play
glad
Clair
you picked
Obscur
this.
again.
I am so glad.
Let's fucking go.
Uh-oh.
This came recommended to me from a pastry
He's playing it
maker
in French.
Clair
in the
Obscur
French,
again.
dude.
In
I'm
Japanese.
voice
playing
acting this
Clair
time.
I'm playing Clair Obscur in Japanese.
You played it in
Yeah.
French? Oh,
Well, that's
you
what I did
missed
the
out on
first
the
time.
peak fucking English
Get the
voices.
subtitles going. What's wrong?
He's a true Canadian.
I
They're
don't
so
know.
good.
There were some peak fucking French voices too. I was vetting the other side of things.
Dude,
I
some of them
vetted
were French
I
anyways,
vetted-
dude. Francois.
He went
I vetted
full
hard
Quebec.
mode and French language.
All right.
What the?
Quebecois.
Sounds like any
We
kind of
made
anyone
it
says that
we made
ever,
it like an
sounds like they
hour
just
and a
fucking
half into
died.
this without any French slander, and now we're saying wag.
Oh,
We're talking about a
Quebec
10
doesn't
game,
count.
dude.
We can
It's
plan
not
it down.
real.
You gave it a 9
not
because you're
French.
weird,
They
but
don't count. There's no slander here, dude.
It is.
This
it
may
is-
be the best thing that France has ever done since World War One.
You could have like bubble soccer, Brad, though, and that would have been like a nice, refreshing break from
No.
after
It's
Clair
just like-
Obscur. We got
No.
fucking anime third-person RPG slop number 2.
It
Right
came
now.
recommended to me,
Fuck.
dude. It
We
came
got
recommended.
we got Clair Obscur, but coming in at a 4.5 right after is fucking is
Wait,
insane.
We didn't want
Look.
Kingdom Hearts, dude. We got Schmingdom Schmarts, bro. We got
Let me read the synopsis. A young wizard seeks freedom through strength.
just play the game. Don't look at anything.
Every year they send out an expedition of.
And
Yeah,
officers
I just played this
control
one.
magic, and their paths cross when a darkness that will transform the world descends.
Here's
Uh-huh.
this
They
one
opened the
sentence
world.
review,
They
dude.
opened the door to
combat is
darkness.
trash
That's what
and
they
tends
did.
to
Right
really
there.
They're
just
opening the door
boil
to
down to
darkness.
just waiting for the enemy to attack before hitting a quick time event and attacking. But worse.
That sounds like Perry Slop.
Wait,
did you pick Perry Slop,
Gameplay to me
Rabdo?
feels like a
Kingdom Hearts
combination
Perry
of
Slaw?
That's
Phantasy
crazy.
Star Online 2
We'll see,
and
dude.
Kingdom Hearts 2.
Let me be the first time I picked a bad game. This game is content. Whatever it is, this game is content. You can't tell me this game won't be
Shortly
content.
after downloading, received a brain injury. Not sure if related, but won't play it again. Refunded. Like weird. Like why are
I
all the
know,
reviews
dude.
like this, Rabdo?
Here's the problem, though. I feel like Brabdo's getting a bad rep because Clair
No, we're
Obscur
just shitting.
was
No,
so
we're just
good.
shitting on it. Like
If we
there's
didn't
hopefully
pick
so
Clair
good.
Obscur last month, it would have been this month's game. It would have been my pick.
You would have picked a
Just delayed
turn-based
Clair
French
Obscur.
game? I don't
I've been
think.
I was gonna play.
You guys
Everyone's
can
been
count on
talking about it.
some-
It's too much hype.
you guys can count on some old dog shit for my pick next.
Oh no, dude, this right now, dude. This is
I
revenge.
just
for Brave
graced
Fencer,
you
just so
guys
know.
with Game of the
Your
Year.
revenge is already.
This
in.
is a
what we're doing.
revenge pick?
Imagine.
I was playing it anyway.
Whoa! When I say
Getting
old dog
close.
shit, I don't mean actually dog. I'd never intended Musashi to be a 5. Let's be real. Come on, hold on.
That's true. I
This
don't.
game
I
could
think
be
that
a
caught
5,
us
and
all
it's
off
going to end
guard.
up being
The
a
Brave
I think we gotta
Fencer.
play
That's
some
all I'm gonna
Battle for
think about
Bikini
is how
Bottom, dude,
worse
next.
it is than the last game.
I'm going for the world
It's
record.
inherently fucked. It's
Oh, next pod's just gonna be like, it
True,
just did
after I
this
eat the
worse than the game we
delicious,
just
We
played.
needed
you know,
a
French taste
palate
where I
cleanser,
was
dude.
hurt.
We've been picking too many good games. Now you gotta eat
It
the.
does
now you
really
gotta-
suck that my games all end up being bad because throughout history, Colin and I have been picking games, and I would pick a game that I thought was good and end up being shitty,
had
and then Colin would pick a game that he
I've had
thinks is
some
good, and
games
it ends
that,
up being
you
the
know,
fucking best
went
game
against
that
the
we've ever
grain.
played.
Dude,
Not terrible. Unique.
You've had some fucking terrible picks. Don't get me wrong, but you've also picked. Yeah, okay, all right. But you've also picked.
Those are the
You've
Abyss.
picked Breath of the Wild. You've picked Xenoblade Chronicles X, and you've picked Clair Obscur. Now I haven't even come close.
lowest score here, dude. We might be the highest scoring game, and then the next one up is gonna be the lowest.
So where's my link on this $60 game?
I got the link.
Game of the year.
Any closing statements on Clair Obscur before we get out of here?
Yeah, that game's
play
peaked.
it.
This one that we're about to play, lock in for next pod. It's about to be not.
It's gonna be a good podcast
Year.
here, no matter what.
Yeah, the next podcast is going to be so good.
It's gonna be good.
Clair Obscur is a tremendous game, and even if you
If you
don't,
didn't far subscribe. Sorry.
yeah, which is something I've never done, honestly.
I'm not-
but,
I'll do it, dude. Like and subscribe, bro.
even if you don't like turn-based games, suck it the fuck up. Grow
Grow up,
some
dude.
hair.
Grow up.
Grow some hair, all right, and just play the turn-based game because
Not
it is.
dirt. Grow up.
It's not dirt. Grow up. This is a really, really good turn-based game.
Peak.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.